This week on It's Happening Out. Company claims HIV cure.
A potential cure for HIV. American Gene Technologies and Rockville.
Trump impeachment update.
Are you talking about the witch hunt? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're talking about? I hear it's a joke.
Rejecting toxic monogamy.
Is it really better to be with one person for your entire life? Historically, humans did not.
Chick-fil-A, okay with gay?
Chick-fil-A is dropping donations.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Aaron Darr. Special guest host, Tiffany Fantasia. With your host, lifestyle expert Napoleon plays. Trans activist Aaron Phoenix. Reality TV star Chef Josie. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. DC Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening, everybody. Everybody here at Bubbles and Pearls, good evening.
Yeah.
We are excited to be here. This is Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. What does that mean? It's happening out, and we have gone live.
Yep.
We're here in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the gayest place on planet Earth. We're broadcasting right over my shoulder from the famous Wilton Drive.
Yeah, and
here.
Right here at Bubbles and Pearls, you know, you got to see a little opening of us. Bubbles and Pearls is my little restaurant here that I own with my wife, and you know, we're located right on the drive, serving up the freshest oysters and popping bottles all day and all night. And again, we're coming to you from the gayest place on planet Earth.
Yes, and before we continue, let me introduce a couple of faces that you might not recognize, or maybe you do. First, our special guest host tonight from the secretary, from the Dolphin Democrats. It's a millennial Democrat. I think those are a contradiction in terms. And that is Aaron Darr. Welcome back, Aaron.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for having me.
Aaron has been on the show and participated in our historic CNN broadcast of the presidential candidates. Mm-hmm. And on that show that Aaron was on, I won't say you helped us accomplish it, but 813,000 people watched that show that night with Aaron. So congratulations.
There you go.
Aaron, everything great with you?
Yep.
Thank you. That's enough. Now, the other guest host that we want to tell you about tonight is, of course, here at seat number 6, and that is Power Infiniti. I mean, Kitty Meow.
Listen, not all drag queens look alike.
Tiffany Fantasia. Good evening to you, Tiffany Fantasia. We make jokes to our friends Power.
Shout out to Kitty and Power. You know, I wear hair, so that's
right.
I love
Shade.
No, it's not shade. That's facts.
That's not shade.
We love facts here.
That's
We love
not
facts.
shade. It is a fact.
They
Wait.
are fierce divas. You know,
Yes.
we just have different aesthetics. I'm
Yes.
the plus size girl, and they muscular, skinny. They got nice body, the ass. I got a six-pack.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun with Tiffany tonight. We encourage you to help share us and propel us, and Napoleon's going to tell you about that.
Yeah, we absolutely want you to like, subscribe, and go down to the little bottom right-hand corner and share this as a watch party. Check out this video.
Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
All right, that's as easy as that. Now, if you believe in gay community and gay culture, share us right now.
Man.
Take the time to share us.
Let's hit 1 million together.
And start a watch party. We're definitely moving in that
That's my goal every
direction.
time I travel, too.
We want to thank one of our sponsors, and that is the Best Western Fort Lauderdale, I-95. Tiffany is staying there tonight. What's your experience been like so far?
Such a nice place. They even have makeup removers, which is like phenomenal to have makeup removers. So
Wait, did you just tell us that the Best Western is drag queen endorsed? Is that
yes, drag queen. Any hotel that has makeup removers ready for you, you're A1 in my book.
All right. Very good. We thank our Best Western partner. And finally, we share.
Yes, and if you also watch us on, you can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/.
Donald Trump is trying to get us off the air no matter what.
youtube.com/It's Happening Out. Subscribe on YouTube, It's Happening Out, and like us to stay in touch with your community and stay up to date with what's going on.
Thank you, Joe. And remember, we told you this is a live show, so you're going to see anything, everything, and possibly anything
That
could
sounds like
happen.
a good idea for next time. Just have
ready.
the little horn right here every time someone speaks. You don't want to
Yeah.
go over. Censorship.
Wait.
No, gave me an idea.
I'll bring that.
Note. All right.
That you
Let's
would.
jump right into the show. First off, at 7 o'clock, I'm doing a show with my partner Napoleon Plays. It's called Happening.Fun. Completely different entertainment. We did it tonight with my friend Chef Josie. Look at this in terms of what we did tonight at Happening.Fun, and we hope you'll tune in. It is also live. Watch this.
Tonight, only on Happening.Fun. We are attractions. We are casino events. We are nightlife. We are festivals. We are concerts. We are Florida events. We are movies. We are sports. We are live performance. With your host, Napoleon Plays. With your moderator, Al Ferguson. Celebrities and interviews, John Leguizamo. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Let's Plan Ahead, Allegria by Cirque du Soleil. Art Basel Miami. Out and About, Leather Masked Ball. Something Like a Dame. Around Florida. Christmas Town at Busch Gardens. St. Augustine Night of Lights. The Fun 5, Thanksgiving in South Florida. Brightlines Polar Express. It's all happening tonight on South Florida's most popular live source for things to fun. Only on Happening.Fun.
Well, that's our new live show called Happening.Fun, and we thank you very much. 20,000 of you watched that brand new show.
Yeah.
You guys
here
like
in South
things to
Florida.
fun.
Yeah,
Man,
Must be
exactly.
me.
Let's. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. All right, let's move on into the show. We always start It's Happening Out with a meme of the week, and we always make the joke, man, do we bash the president. And tonight is no... Oh, wait, it is an exception. We don't do a political meme.
Oh, wow.
Here's
They
our
were scared of
meme
you.
You're off
tonight. And our meme of the week is, I could care less about Chick-fil-A. It takes 5 guys to satisfy me.
Hey!
I love it, but I have to find out from our audience. So if you'll take one moment,
Keep going.
and type in, if you're with us, type in who you think this person is. We're going to find out whether or not
you just
know
blocked
who
me
this
from
is.
telling. Okay, so I'll play
Yes, I
along.
did.
We won't.
So-
we won't tell.
Just give us a few seconds
Just
before we
let,
go into.
let me point out
Play
that
the Jeopardy music.
you won't like his shorts. I'll put it that way.
Do you like the 70s music?
All right, yeah,
Well, I'm-
that's our meme of the
Okay.
week. Next in the show is
two guys.
the best
Two guys,
thing
four
of the
guys.
week. And the best thing of the week
Thank you.
teases us all with something that we think is entertaining. This week, we have a comedian. And actually, interestingly enough, we have a trans comedian called Casey Workman, transitioning male to female, and our best thing of the week. Watch this.
So it's good. It's nice to be here. I should just explain, I recently started transitioning from male to female. So at the moment, I'm making like 90 cents on the dollar. It's going okay. Sometimes people say to me, "Oh, do you miss being a man?" Fuck no. No. I miss pockets. When you are trans, people will ask you about your junk a lot, that's not cool. Don't be that person. And it doesn't matter anyway, it doesn't. Genitals are like Mexican food, we all have the same thing, it's just folded differently. I have a relative who likes to mock and misgender me deliberately. He likes to call me the wrong gender on purpose. He thinks that's a funny thing to do. And his argument for that is that, well, I knew you when you were young and you were presenting as a boy and you can't just change overnight, And anyway, what sort of pussy is hurt by words? They're just words. I'm just keeping it real. That's what he sounds like, you see. And so I had to think about that. I thought, well, maybe he's right. Maybe, because pronouns are just words after all. And maybe if I really am a brave person, it shouldn't matter what people call me. So I decided to put this theory into practice by introducing him to my friends as a recently released sex offender. You'd be surprised. Turns out words actually do matter quite a bit.
How long have you been planning that joke?
At least 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I got lost in the comedy.
Our best thing of the week, really enjoyed that. And I haven't seen a trans comedian. I hear there are a number, but I haven't seen absolutely wonderful.
Oh, perfect.
We're going to move into also how we start off the show. We do it a little lighter, and that is I'd Swallow That, our game where we do shots.
Yeah.
Now, Tiffany, you're going to learn very quickly
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
not
able
used to swallowing. I'm just saying.
How long have you been planning that joke?
It just came to the top of my head because I'm not a swallow. I don't have to.
It just came to the top of your head.
Tiffany, you're going to learn very quickly to be able to endure the Democrats and to endure the Republican. You're going to need some shots.
Yes.
We're going to do some vodka shots. Now, our game, I'd Swallow That, we want you to play along with us at home. We're going to do a number of questions. If you agree with the question, you agree by taking the shot. If you don't agree, you don't take the shot.
Easy breezy.
Aaron, are you old enough to drink? I'm not sure. Did you sign your disclaimer?
There's the version
I
now and
am.
the one that was in the opening promo.
Wait, did you just get shy and retract like a turtle there?
Oh no, I'm
Mitch
blonde,
McConnell.
so I'm forever pretty.
Oh.
We're an endangered
All right.
species, blondes.
All right, we're off. All right, so play along with us at home. It can be water, beer, whatever you want to do.
Let's play along.
All right, so let's bring some shots out, and we'll take a shot here. And we're going to do the dark one here for me. Yeah. Would you like one too? All right.
So you like them dark?
What have you heard? What have you heard?
I'm just going by what I see.
Oh.
Actions speak louder than words.
All right.
I like this girl.
We're gonna explore that later.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not ready.
I know where you're
Oh my
staying.
goodness.
Best Western on I-95.
Lock all the doors in Best Western.
All right, here we go. I'd swallow that. Question number 1. I'd swallow that. The day when being LGBTQ plus are equal to everyone is not in our near future. It's not.
You were really quick for that one.
Yeah.
Oh my
We got a
God.
long way
Why
to go.
so quick?
Well, I feel that we have to, all of a sudden, I feel we haven't honed in on our own message. We're sending out so many messages of how we want to be accepted these days that it's confusing to those who we want to accept us. So until we figure that out and this area, this atmosphere changes a little bit, we have a long way to go.
I want to re-ask to make sure I'm clear on that observation you just made. You just said until our gay community, LGBTQ plus community, understands what we want, the rest of the community can't understand us?
Correct.
Oh my!
I feel the last
my goodness, I am shocked. What do you? Any others? Joe, you didn't take the shot.
I didn't because actually it's very interesting what you said, because for the last 50 years, what the LGBT community has wanted is to meld into the rest of society and just be one with everyone else. And over the last several years, I really think we are well on that way. I mean, you can walk into almost any restaurant and there's gay and straight. And in D.C., all the gay clubs are really half straight, half gay because it's just blended.
And while I agree with that, I think this question is deeper than that.
But I think we're not as far away as we have been. And we are so much closer because so many people are very accepting, and you don't.
What do you think? We've come a long way, but yet you can still get harassed at your job just for being gay, or they demean you because you are gay. If you come up with a complaint or something, they use, "Oh, he's gay. You don't mind him. He's just complaining." Until we can get past that, we've come a long way, but we got a long way to go.
And that's in the gayest place in the world is right here. That's not even
you live in
everywhere
South
else.
Yes, I live in South Beach, but I've lived in Miami too, a group in Miami, so I've been in all the areas. And there's still areas where you're going to get called a fag just by walking down the street, minding your business. So,
anything you wanted to add? I thought.
Even with that, I think every step we take forward as the LGBT community, we take 5 steps back. You used the word accept earlier, Joe. I think there's a big difference as someone who's born and raised Baptist for 19 years of my life. I think there's a big difference between tolerance and acceptance.
Oh, yeah.
Tolerance
Absolutely.
I had that conversation with a friend recently.
Tolerance and acceptance.
Okay, interesting. Let's move on to question number 2, and we need another. Many of us need another shot because we need another shot.
Because
there you go.
You're gonna have to drink all that.
There you go. All right, here we are in question number 2. I'd swallow that. I hold on to a grudge longer than I should.
Oh, Lord.
God, I hate doing this shot. I hate it.
Oh, you hold on to a grudge?
Let it go.
Oh, you were thinking the whole time.
You say let it go, and trust me, I have done so much work on myself, but that Puerto Rican Italian side of me, just won't let it go. And I let a lot of things go. I have let so much go. I let it go. It's a practice, though. And that's what I want to say to people. Even though you think that you're on some journey of enlightenment and you think that you have learned so much about yourself, it's like the practice of letting go. That's an everyday commitment.
And along those lines, one of the things that I have learned is that a grudge is pretty much all about the anger I feel. And holding on to the anger,
that's why I hate
and
it.
wanting to inflict some level of pain back on the individual. So if I can recognize that it's my pain and my anger, and it's probably my 9-year-old self and something that I've experienced before, and I just need to reconcile and move on.
One of the ways that I'm addressing this now, every morning, I do like the prayer in AA. Please, God, grant me the serenity to accept Napoleon plays today.
And the wisdom to know what you can.
Let's bring a shout out for our next question here.
In how many, 300 weeks or 550 weeks, he still hasn't done that.
Right?
You ain't praying hard enough.
All right. Let's move.
Practice, that's what I said.
Let's move on to question number 3. Here we go.
I'll get another one.
I swallow that. I feel frustrated after some episodes of It's Happening Out.
Well, I think if I don't take this shot right now, it'd be a very clear lie as the person sitting next to you all the time having to put up with it. So, let's get that.
So several or just one, or does it matter?
It could be the last question for you. It could be whatever whatever
Or
you're
you feel that frustration.
All right,
But you don't hold on to the
vodka,
grudge.
You just
right?
need to take a shot and join us.
I'm curious.
I get frustrated, but then I can move on and let go because I got things to do. I got bills to pay.
Right. Now, Aaron, you've done two shows.
I
You
have.
haven't felt frustrated in any way.
No, because like I said both times I've been here, I think that this program is a wonderful outlet and opportunity to engage not just the LGBT community, but also our allies.
Yeah.
So it's not about
You're
being
just used to
frustrated.
being so politically frustrated that here it's like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, yes. Right, sure.
I love that. And Joe, you are our token on this show. You took the shot.
I did take the shot.
What's your frustration? What's your top frustration? In 10 seconds, my frustration with It's Happening Out episodes has been...
Well, it's not with the episode. It's there are moments within the episode where, for me, I wish I had responded differently.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
play it back,
frustration
Jared
with
Curry.
myself.
You do have that feature where you can play it back, and then
Aw.
next week you can do exactly like the testimony yesterday and today by the Republican-appointed representatives. I'd like to amend my testimony from private
Alter
to
the
public.
footage.
All right. And for you, Napoleon, what frustrates
I get
you?
frustrated all the time here. Either just not being in the moment enough and wanting to contribute more. That, like, when you have this platform, like you were just describing, you have an opportunity in every single second to try to help other people, to try to say something that could really be impactful. But when you try too hard, then it doesn't end up being that. Then you're just forcing something that can't happen.
Insincerity.
Yeah, and there's this balance of what has to happen and reacting regularly or trying to make sure that the show goes on and that we're moving on to the next topic, but that if you're passionate enough, that you're adding a little bit. And it's so much balance because you want to work with a cast and make sure everyone gets heard, but also you want to make sure your voice gets heard. It's so much balancing that it's definitely frustrating. And if I didn't feel frustrated, I'd be frustrated now because if I'm not,
I just want you
working
to
harder.
know that we're working at not being frustrated, that you just went on and on.
Yes. But thank you.
That sounds like frustration.
And if
wait
I
for
could,
that and play it back
if I
later,
could
too.
change that, yes, we need Jesus. We need Jesus here.
Amen.
I have just spent 5 days with Napoleon Plays in Havana. By the way, we were there. You saw in the opening package the 500th celebration. We were there for a variety of different kinds of secret things that were going on for the 500th anniversary.
Oh my
We're-
God, the Cuban Missile Crisis is back.
Oh God, that's got to be playing on Fox News.
We
for
are
like
very
45
excited. We are very excited to tell you, America, that the second Havana Pride is going to take place in May of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? The world's most popular live gay TV show is going back to Havana.
All right.
Right.
But we're going back.
All
By
right.
then we'll get our monogram right, okay?
Yes, that's right. All right, let's bring in our final shot for our final question here.
I have mine from earlier.
America, I don't know if you could see, but the last time Napoleon or Tiffany poured
One more.
a drink completely all
wasn't
over
me.
my...
Well,
who
yeah,
was it?
You said
Don't, don't try to blame it on the black person. It was I know it wasn't me.
Gag.
All of my liquor.
Gay
I
person.
drank all
All
of
right.
my liquor.
All right.
Every drip drop, don't you waste
I,
it.
I was getting ready to say Tiffany's not a real drag queen because there's no way a drop of vodka would be spilled.
Hallelujah.
It was
I'll
me.
take responsibility for it. It's okay. I make the room wet. It's
All right. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Our final question. I'd swallow that. Now we get a little personal. Let's try this question on our cast. I'd swallow that. I'm willing to admit I keep mementos from past relationships.
No.
No.
I let it go, honey. When I break up, I break up.
We
Bye.
done.
I'm
We
done.
is
It was
done.
beautiful. Nice knowing you. If I see you in the club, I'll say hello, but that's it. Bye.
All right. All right.
You can buy her a
say-
drink.
You now.
don't
Again,
know.
you're spilling a little of that vodka. Now
Drink it.
you can
Just
drink
drink it.
because you said no.
Wow, wait. Can we get a close up of just how
A
you
close up.
Put it
Not
in your
drop.
mouth.
You keep mementos even at this point in your
I have. I'm 28, so yes, I'm a millennial. But I think the past is a very good indicator of hopefully what your future will be as long as you learn from your mistakes. So there are certain aspects of my past and my relationships, whether it be with other men or even friends or family members that I've held on to make sure that I just remember where I've come from and where I'm going.
And America, hold on. America, I want to remind you, Aaron has informed us that he is a Gold Star gay.
I am a Gold Star gay.
Tell America what a Gold Star gay is.
As always, a Gold Star gay, to be politically correct, is someone who identifies as the same gender, having only slept with someone of the same gender that they identify as. So I've only ever been.
Did I?
Yes, woo! I've only ever been.
Are you
with
a Gold
men.
Star gay?
Oh, yes, honey.
Come on, Gold Star! Woo!
I don't remember about you.
Baby, as soon as AOL was on, baby, I was in there.
Come on, AIM, come through. AOL is the
Oh, my
chat
God.
room, honey. How you doing? Oh, yeah.
There's something wrong here because Napoleon is like, I don't know whether the rest of these are Gold Star gays. I'm like, really, honey? I got 4 kids.
You got children.
You
made it work somehow.
I'm not. Okay.
I'm not. No.
I had to test out the other market just to see if
that's
it worked
exactly
for me.
right.
Okay?
Actually, I was going to make the joke, Gold Star gay. Sounds a little dull to me.
But I'll tell you this, I want to acknowledge you, Aaron, because you read this and it was like past relationships, and you brought up your family and friends, and that's what relationships are about, and that's what we forget. We forget that relationships are not only the ones that we're intimately involved with, but it's like everyone.
Right.
And I keep mementos because I feel like my brain is. I want to remember things. I want to remember the moments that define me. So it's like, I remember that time.
I understand a lot of that, but there's a point that it just becomes, and I believe in that too, to the point that I have hoarded things for a long time. You have to let go of some stuff.
I'm not talking about hoarding, honey.
No,
okay?
but there is a line.
Once
Becomes
again.
hoarding. Everything has sentimental
Wait,
value
this
to it.
question talks about mementos from past relationships, not hoarding lots of men simultaneously.
That's what we're
talking
cage
about.
at a single time. That is
All right.
unsafe.
I was
One
gonna
person
say-
cage at a
Okay.
time.
All right.
I was just
That's-
going to say,
Unlike our government.
Y'all, I'm going to move on.
don't look in the freezer
All right.
at my house.
This is our game, I'd Swallow That, and we play every week, and we learn a lot about our cast. We're going to move into our
Here we
next
go.
segment called Happening Now.
Yep.
And Happening Now is our breaking, trending, hold on, Mr. Morrison, is about our, yes,
that
you
easy.
know what we're going to talk about, is our breaking news and Happening Now. It's our trending news, and of course the trending news is the House hearings that went on today and yesterday. Two interesting moments that we want to show you in our Happening Now is first, Mr. Morrison's testimony about what happened between the White House and the president of Ukraine. We've prepared this. Watch this. Well, on the day yesterday that Mr. Morrison testified, I believe it went on for 11 hours in the House chamber. Today has been quite significant also. There was one moment that took place from Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, which I thought was particularly interesting. He's Ukrainian-born, came here as an infant, and he's kind of been smeared, and I use kind of in a very liberal way. He has been smeared about potentially being even spy-like for Ukraine, which is why he is testifying. After his testimony yesterday, the U.S. Army has assigned a full-time 24-hour-a-day security detail to protect him, and they are considering moving him to a base and his family to protect him because the U.S. Army is fearful for his security. He had an interesting moment in the testimony in the House, and we've prepared that. Watch this.
Dad, my sitting here today in the U.S. Capitol talking to our elected officials is proof that you made the right decision 40 years ago to leave the Soviet Union and come here to the United States of America in search of a better life for our family. Do not worry, I'll be fine for telling the truth.
You realize when you came forward out of sense of duty that you were putting yourself in direct opposition to the most powerful person in the world. Do you realize that, sir?
I knew I was assuming a lot of risk.
And why do you have confidence that you can do that and tell your dad not to worry?
Congressman, because this is America. This is the country I've served and defended, that all of my brothers have served, and here, right matters.
Thank you, sir. Yield back.
Well, it was an amazing moment. You didn't see it in this video package, but the entire House hearing room broke into spontaneous applause in that moment. So what we've watched in terms of the last 2 days of the hearings, what do y'all think? Thoughts?
Oh my God.
One of the contrasts to Vindman, and I applaud him coming from there, it struck me as odd, was the fact that Ukrainian officials had approached him multiple times to become the Secretary of Defense for the Ukraine, which is very odd.
So what?
Well, it's just.
So you make an accusation. Oh, you're black. So
No.
what? Oh, you were in Moscow in 2005. So what? There's no value to the observation unless there is a so what.
Oh, that's
so I ask, so what?
No quid pro quo. Same thing.
What does an offer from the Ukrainian government for him to be defense minister have to do with minimizing his observation of exactly saying this is what happened on the call? So what?
Motivation.
For what? What is his motivation?
I'm not even going to derail this conversation, because when we talk about motivation, we could also bring up Trump's tax returns, but we're gonna skip over that. But what I would like to really note about these last couple of days, it's pretty amazing how the experience from any average American, I mean, I consider myself an average American. I mean, I know a little more because I make the effort to know a little bit more, and I also encourage everyone else to know as much as you can. But watching this and seeing how there is two totally different experiences happening. I mean, we're all hearing the same thing, and at the end of the day, we have 4 people who have come to the stand, and they all point to where we need to go. Right. And all of the people that they have subpoenaed have refused to come on the stand.
He was a Republican witness. He and Morrison and the person from
Mike Pence
was not.
Jennifer Williams.
Vindman was, I thought.
Vindman
oh,
was not.
I'm
Jennifer
sorry.
Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aide to Mike Pence.
All right. Other thoughts. Other thoughts.
You know, you were bringing.
Go ahead.
You were bringing up. It's really frightening. Like you said, we were in Havana the last couple of days, and it's really frightening to leave the country and then actually have absolutely no idea if what we're returning to is the exact same thing or how much it has evolved in that time frame. In just 5 days, there can be so much that happens in our country. There can be so much double talk, back talk, triple talk, three faces, that I don't know at any point what we're coming back to. And that allows me to understand that I have so little trust in what's going on in Washington or with anyone that's built up to it that I don't know what my even feelings are toward the USA anymore. It doesn't feel like a single integer. It doesn't feel like a single unit.
Any other thoughts?
Well, I have to definitely speak to that. For me, this week has been, if I could sum it up in one word, it's just melancholy. Even though I am a Democrat, I'm an American first. And whether the president would be a Democrat or Republican, the fact that we're going through such a divisive time in our nation's history and we're actually considering impeaching a president who I believe has committed not only treason, but multiple and impeachable offenses, it's a sad time for our country. I'm not joyous about the fact that we're going through this. I'm not joyous about the fact that there are Republicans that are being discredited by members of their own party, that they're saying that, whatever it is that you're saying is not factually accurate, or they're just glancing over it because to them partisanship matters right now because we're just a year out from another presidential election, and to hold on to power is more important than America's democracy and what we stand for, what our Constitution stands for.
Yeah, but I can reflect back the same thing. You talk about them not being truthful, but I can reflect back the same feelings the other way. So it works both ways.
How?
Because the truth is that there was no quid pro quo.
Joe, let me challenge the observation. Please,
no offense.
Please, we know what the soundbite is. Please allow me to challenge the soundbite.
No.
From the vice president's office,
Jennifer
and
Williams,
the lieutenant colonel, and Morrison all said the identical thing, which was, in the call, they specifically said the aid would be withheld unless the president of Ukraine did this.
An investigation, yep.
It was crystal clear. How is that an implication of smoothing over facts? Wait.
No, investigations is one thing. Everybody else has hearsay and what they understood.
Again, one more time, please. Please, no one talk over me. 3 people testified yesterday. That is not true. They heard the call.
Some of those same 3 people testified the reverse of what you're saying. Okay, and it was read out on both sides.
There's no question that Morrison supports the president and the Republican
and
position.
His statement
and
supported
said,
the president and his position.
They came back to say it was crystal clear. It was made crystal clear to him that the president of Ukraine had to do this to get the aid. He said that in the hearing.
And the president of the Ukraine said he was not pressured.
Joe,
and he did not feel an obligation.
Okay, now we've answered your question.
Aware
we
that he had to do
get,
anything.
All due respect, we can't get to any honest discovery because that nonsense is the answer.
Okay,
I have fact in front of you, and I hear nonsense.
Bullshit. No,
it is not bullshit.
Mine is fact.
And to say bullshit is the Trump tactic. Bullshit.
Fake news.
Morrison said yesterday in the hearing that his understanding was if the president of Ukraine
understanding
did
is not
say
fact.
it. Well,
Understanding
then
is not
how do you
fact.
get to any fact
You don't have a fact
when the
witness.
president
So
won't release the transcript?
The transcript was released.
That takes us exactly to the point where we need to be. We need to go directly to the decision makers, the people who were at the table, who were on the phone, and those people need to be on the stand.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So we're clear.
I'm going to close. I'm going to close happening now. I'm going to close happening now, putting an exclamation point on Aaron Darr's observation. Today is melancholy because the observation is there's no possibility of getting to truth because there are people that are going to lie over every other issue, and that's what we're watching. Now, what the conclusion of that will be, we do not know yet, but that is it's happening now, breaking news. Let's move into something a little lighter. Celebrity Hot Topic. First off, did you watch the Country Music Association Awards?
Hell yeah.
Lil Nas becomes, I know, awesome. Lil Nas becomes the first out black gay man to win at the CMAs. We want to show you a little bit of that. Watch this.
Hi, another question for Lil Nas. I'm just curious, even though in the beginning it seemed like at least the critics wanted to reject this song, every time I have seen you at any kind of a country music event, you just have so much joy and you just sort of radiate like you're having the time of your life. So can you talk about being in this genre, being at CMA Fest, getting to interact with all these stars, being here tonight?
First, I'm happy to go, to any award show, of course. Just to be here at this point of my life, like not knowing where I was going to go to next last year, it's like, it's amazing. Anytime I'm invited anywhere. And there's so much positivity within this community too, so, I love it.
What's up?
He really does have an adorable.
Exciting. He wins the CMA Award in country music, their top award. What do y'all think about this moment?
Hey, listen, man, this is a great moment for country music. It's a great moment for LGBT country artists. I mean, he's the first person of color, man to win a CMA.
first gay black man.
I mean, I'm friends with Ty Hernan. I'm dropping lines here, okay? And man, this whole entire, if you got to see it, that was Dolly Parton, Casey Musgraves. It was like everyone. This was country music royalty. It was awesome.
I'm glad that you say that too, because part of what's so interesting is that he's not trying to hide the fact that he's a little bit flamboyant, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's
embracing it.
He's got the glitter on. He's got the sparkles. He doesn't try to be someone that he's not, and
His
it is
shirt's
really
open.
empowering. You see the confidence that he has. You see the charm that he has, and it's because he's embracing.
I'm
who he
curious,
really is.
Tiffany, what did you think of this moment?
I am excited for this moment for several reasons. Number one, they didn't want him. Country music was rejecting him. They wouldn't put him on the Billboard charts. They would not play him on country radio, and he still went to #1 and now has the most consecutive
via
weeks.
the pop charts.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and beat out Mariah Carey's and Boyz II Men's hit "One Sweet Day."
Yeah.
So there's that, and CMA gave him that award and said,
Yes.
"You earned it. You earned your place."
We applaud
in country
them, too.
music, despite country music being such a white male driven industry and saying you're not welcome in our home. He said, well, shoot, I'm gonna build my fence, my house, and you're gonna celebrate around it.
That's interesting.
That's really,
I love that.
That is really interesting.
I was going to say, I think that's a great observation. Let's move into a second celebrity hot topic, and that is Céline Dion. Now, Céline Dion and drag queen. Wait, how do you mix the two? Oh, Lord. All right. Something really interesting happened as Céline Dion surprises the queens at Lips Drag Palace with a special midnight performance.
Oh, my God.
We
We
got a
must
little
have
of this. Watch what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most unbelievable thing that has ever happened in my life. Stop. She is the most unbelievable diva, ladies and gentlemen, in our time. Can you please give it up for the incomparable, the phenomenal, the gorgeous Céline Dion.
You can't get rid of me. I can't leave like that. That's impossible. I can't just come over here and say hi, thank you so much for your support, for your hard work. Good night, have a good time. We're gonna get some music going, okay? My feet on the runway. It's a beautiful day. Sunshine on my own. Thank you so much. Have a good time today.
That was an awesome moment. Tiffany, I got to start with you. What do you think?
First off, I wasn't ready for the karaoke screen. Hold on, I thought
my millennials.
I noticed the karaoke moment, but she's smart because any true diva knows that your gay audience will always keep you afloat.
Yes.
No matter how old you get, they are no, it's true. They super loyal. Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, they all knew. Girl, you channel it to the gays, you're still gonna be eating sweet.
Yeah.
You know, and she did that. And what better marketing tool than drag queens? If you get drag queens to play your song, that means in every gay bar they are playing your song.
That's right.
And it's gonna spread out.
I'm curious. Have you done Céline Dion?
Yes.
Well, what have you done? Don't tell me my heart has gone on.
No.
My heart goes on.
I've done her version of River Deep, Mountain High.
Okay.
And what's the other one? The Stalker one. Oh my goodness.
Stalker one.
Yes, there's the.
I'll drive this truck.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I think that.
I think it would be worthwhile for those who aren't familiar with Lips, for somebody to give a little overview. Of
Well,
what Lips
it's
is.
That was my old stomping ground in New York.
It's a very straight-centric drag queen restaurant bar. We have one here in Fort Lauderdale,
right.
Yes.
right in Wilton Manors. And
Gayest place on planet
it's
Earth.
the gayest place on
The whole thing about it being a surprise is that it really is at that point then for the people that are there. You're not trying to just get the
It's a
publicity.
wonderful,
You're really
it's a wonderful
showing that
dinner
support and love.
theater.
Did
the
everybody
social
have the
media
same
that
reaction that I had that she looked really good too?
Yeah.
She looked really good.
I'll tell you, I'll never look at
doctor.
aluminum foil the same way ever again.
Yeah. And by the way, she's a neighbor. She lives right here in South Florida.
Oh, really?
Lives in
Celine,
Broward
grab the
County.
phone.
What's that stalking song?
Look, Tiffany's going, I'm going to find that
we need
girl.
to talk.
All
She
right.
and South Beach girl call me.
Those are our celebrity hot topics this week. We're going to move into headlines, and we have several headlines that are interesting. The first headline this week is an earth-shattering, earth-shaking headline, and you might not have even heard about it. Is there an HIV cure? All stop. A U.S. company, the American Gene Technologies, claims that they have found the HIV cure and have submitted it to the FDA for approval. We want to show you a little bit of news about this. Watch this.
Watch tonight, a Maryland medical company believes it has developed a potential cure for HIV. American Gene Technologies in Rockville submitted an application to the FDA for a gene therapy it says will eliminate that virus. The company says the therapy is a genetically modified product made from a person's own cells that repairs damage to the immune system caused by HIV. The company expects to start a phase 1 clinical trial on humans in January.
Wow, this is really big news, America. Interesting to me, this report that we just showed you comes, I believe, from a Baltimore affiliate. It is reported because this medical company is in their community, and that's how it's reported. It's not reported on the national news at NBC, ABC, or CBS. But what do y'all think about this announcement of the potential cure for HIV?
So with the announcement, it's not necessarily a cure. It's a vaccination to inhibit it. Once somebody has contracted it, it can counteract it. So it's not a vaccine.
Fake news is what you're saying?
No.
It's like a post-exposure.
It's like a post-exposure.
So it's like a liquid, more potent form of what is
it's like the morning after pill.
So rather than for those of us that are positive and undetectable, this would be more like going in and it would eradicate all the viruses
I want
that
to
are
make
within
sure
the system.
that there's clarity in terms of your asterisks.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of listeners that either are HIV positive or are affected, they're negative but could be affected by HIV positive, does it make any difference on the observation you just made? You've given an asterisk on the word cure, but does it matter?
It does, because you can still contract HIV, and if it goes undetected, then you can still come down with AIDS. It's not like PrEP. You take it in order to not contract it. This is gene therapy, and oftentimes gene therapy has to be often made specific to your
It's
genetic
done from your
sequences.
bone marrow.
Yeah,
of course.
So,
It's important
that means somebody, unless they find another cure, somebody has to be contracted, and they have to create a therapy off of your genes.
Okay.
Well,
Other thoughts? Final thoughts?
I definitely have to comment on this. As my background outside of politics has been traveling all over the country and throughout Europe since the age of 16. I'm 28 now. I contracted HIV when I was 16 years old.
You're positive.
I'm HIV positive. I'm very open about that and the work that I've done in that kind of advocacy. So to see this, whether we call it a cure, whatever the acronym, whatever the verbiage is, even if it's post-exposure, I think it's wonderful because, again, talking about the LGBT community, but the HIV, it can affect anyone regardless of who you are, where you live, and who you love. I think it's a wonderful step in the right direction as science continues to advance and progress forward, but we need to remember where we've come from and hopefully where we're going and the countless people that we've lost.
That is true. I mean, it also brings up a lot of fear for me. I'm from Maryland. I know a lot of people that were involved in the studies with Truvada, with other things before any of the PrEP or PEP, as they're known now, were made mainstream. And as much as this would be an incredible thing, should this be true, there is a lot of false science, of fake reports, of things that happen a little bit too quickly. And while this could be an incredible thing, and if it is, oh my goodness, is that just a moment in history we can never forget, we do have to, at this time, be cautious because we're not sure what's actually going to happen, what kind of side effects this could lead to, or even what kind of governmental control this could lead to that could cause more problems than the actual HIV virus itself. And while it could be an amazing thing, don't be so foolish as to think it is inherently the truth or going to be something so positive. So just be a little bit cautious when it comes to your health.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hey, man, to piggyback off that, call me a conspiracy theory type of person, but part of me thinks that it's going to be a long road to have an actual cure because of the fact that there's so much money invested in the drugs that are available now.
Yeah.
They are making so much money off of PrEP and all these other drugs out there, how they've raised the one of the drugs that helped out with HIV from it was like 20-something cents or whatever, and it's now $200.
Going to do a flash poll.
It makes me feel like if there is a cure, they're going to do anything in their power to block it. So I think we have a long way
Or
to
make
go.
it cost
I
$500,000
want
every
to
intake.
interrupt a moment, and I want to take a quick flash poll. America, I frequently like our hosts to comment on questions and say yes or no. No descriptions, no definitions, just yes or no. Based on what we've seen in this report and the comments here, the asterisks that Joe gives, the concerns that you talk about, but the definite concern that Napoleon talks about, do you feel the challenge by the United Nations is in the UK, other countries are following, to basically have zero transmission by 2030?
Yeah.
I want to push it faster. Do you think, yes or no, in our flash poll, we are going to have a cure for AIDS? I'm choosing the word like we have in our slide. Cure for AIDS by 2024. Yes or no? 5 years.
No, because it's viral.
Please,
No.
yes or no?
No.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Do you think we'll have a cure for AIDS by 2030? Yes or no?
No.
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 Wow. Okay. All right. So it's definitely big news, but there's a lot of asterisks going on in this.
But let's take one more moment because when you talk about a cure, you can eradicate so many things, whether it be measles or mumps or TB, and they come back because they're viral in nature, and they come back when their systems are not up to speed or able to resist them. So because it is viral, I don't know that one can say there will ever be an eradication because it's a virus. I think you can go a long way to cure, and I think the benefit of what you see here with genetic mutation on this is that if this is successful, then cancer and all these other
Terminal
illnesses are also possible. Okay, that
the
that one can
efficacy
use
of
this.
gene therapy in and of itself is hours of conversation.
Yes. Anyway,
and that's why
There's a lot of hope with this.
Yes. Okay. All right. We're moving into headline number 2, and that is our friends at Chick-fil-A. Have you heard that we have friends at Chick-fil-A? The gay
slides.
Gay community.
I got lots of
Joe's
friends
always
Chick-fil-A.
liked Chick-fil-A, but he's always liked Donald Trump too. So, all right.
Chicken sandwich is independent of your politics.
But actually, funny thing, in August when Popeyes challenged Chick-fil-A with the new chicken sandwich, Napoleon went out. We did a taste test at the show. We've cut out a little piece of that moment about Chick-fil-A and what happened in our August show. And we want to show you that now. Watch this. We wanted to begin by having conversation of whether or not boycotts are effective. What do y'all think? Are they effective?
No.
Yes.
Hell yes, of
Yeah,
course.
sometimes.
We are a powerful community, and guys, we have a lot of money collectively, okay? And what that means is we get to speak up through where we spend our money.
Correct.
That's the most power, because no one is listening to reason anymore.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing about that.
This is the second worst thing
I'm
after the
a
Trump
little
hat
hungry.
that
Y'all
is
keep
sitting at this
talking
table.
about boycotting. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm going to boycott you in 2 seconds, okay?
Here's the thing, and that's actually a good segue because what you've got to remember is a boycott is not you and your little friend Nancy saying I'm not going to go shop there. It's the community as a whole deciding that you're not going to support
But
something.
that's the problem, is the community as a whole. If we haven't cohesively
Exactly.
made this decision.
Oh.
Hashtag boycott Al Ferguson.
Well, you can do that before you ever
Hashtag boycott.
All right. That's what happened in August when we did the challenge. It's funny.
All I
we
can
did
say is it's a crime to throw away those waffle fries.
That's it.
Honey,
right.
you're going to
You
jail.
saw Josie's face and you heard Antonio. You
yeah,
saw
and
everything.
you saw
that's
it
going
shut
on.
Al up, so we're gonna have Chick-fil-A every episode
Right.
now here.
Here, America, let me tell you something. We, after doing that, we did a little taste test, a blind taste test at the table, and the host had a sampling of the new Popeye sandwich and the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and Chick-fil-A won
Hey,
at
listen,
the table.
listen.
No asterisks. No asterisks.
No. You need to, because that is not even fair. Okay, because that Popeye sandwich that you guys put up, it was a spicy Chick-fil-A and a regular Popeye.
This is the chef
you gotta
talking.
do
Wait,
the
my
spicy.
spices did it right.
Right.
All right, but wait. I want to come back to
And don't get into a fight, because there ain't no chicken sandwich worth it.
I want to come back to the story. And in full disclosure, that was the first fast food that I had eaten in 4 years.
There you go.
Better than
Wow.
me. Any fast- All right. So this week, Chick-fil-A has had a turn of heart. We're going to go to video in a second. And we searched for who would comment on Chick-fil-A. And of course, we went to Joe's and I's friends at Fox News.
Here we
Watch
go.
what Fox News said about Chick-fil-A.
Who they mad?
For a moment, because we're told that Chick-fil-A is dropping donations to the Salvation Army.
To two particular groups, the Salvation Army and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Both claim critics are opposed to gay marriage, that they support what would be considered traditional family values. They've been under a lot of attack for this, and now they have decided to not fund those particular organizations. They say they're going to focus on education, homelessness, and hunger.
Get in? So I have to tell you, America, Chick-fil-A has a change of heart, and they are no longer going to support anti-LGBT organizations. What do y'all? First off, doesn't that deserve applause?
Listen. I know I'm going to surprise a lot of people right now. But there are 13 million children who go hungry every single night in this country alone, okay? And you know what? Quite frankly, I don't care if Chick-fil-A is going to support those organizations who are feeding a part of those 13 million children. We got to think bigger and outside of ourselves and our agendas.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
I think that things are lost because we sit here fighting Chick-fil-A, and if you look at the Salvation Army website on the companies that sponsor them, baby, you got a long list. And are you really gonna sit there and go down the line? I'm not going to this place. I'm not doing this. I'm not signing with AT&T. I'm not doing this. I'm not because of who they sponsor. And honestly, a lot of these companies sponsor both sides of the fence.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about this, because Chick-fil-A is essentially the Kanye West of fast food. Maybe you hate him. Maybe you love him.
I will definitely never have it ever now.
Whatever you do, all you people that say that you hate Chick-fil-A, and maybe there's a lot of things that you could feel about it, but you're still posting about it on Facebook. I'm still inundated with all your bullshit constantly about why you don't want to support Chick-fil-A. And guess what? You're still talking about it. You're still giving them the free promotion.
Let me throw out a soundbite and see if there's any acceptance on this. The boycott discussion from the gay community worked. Chick-fil-A backed down after years of fighting and fighting. They said it's not worth it. What do y'all think?
They did put that forward, and then 3 days later decide, okay, that's not actually where we stand. Maybe saying that out loud will
You're
make
not
us
clear.
support.
Now, what you just said makes no sense, so you're going to have to re-explain it because it's not clear.
That I don't know what news to believe.
up.
They said that they weren't going to support these organizations, and then just a few days later, they said, "Oh, well, actually, we're losing the support of some of the people that were supporting us before, the conservatives."
Do you
maybe
know this for a fact? 'Cause you're saying that this story is not true.
I'm saying that there are so many reports about Chick-fil-A that and this is not just a me thing. This is something all over Facebook, all over the news.
know at all?
It's a big deal.
What he's talking about is Chick-fil-A still supports a number of evangelical organizations that have a lot of outreach. And I think that's appropriate. I think you can evolve in your understanding, and I still don't get why they decided not to do the Salvation Army and the FCA.
Listen,
because
they could be
do
leaders.
lots of very positive
They
things.
could be leaders in it. They could be an example. They could be the gateway for the rest of the communities to follow them into the space. We gotta really.
Here's my problem.
We gotta
We're
think about
asking
this.
a Christian-based organization not to be Christian-based with this giving. It's kind of weird to me. If this was a regular, they close on Sundays because of their faith. Like, I never understood it from the beginning. It's like everybody knew from the beginning, before the former CEO said that he donated to these organizations, that they were Christian-based. So why are we acting brand new of where they spending their money. I'm not surprised by it. I say if you don't like it, don't go. If
It's
you like
interesting.
it,
Your observation is
Don't
interesting
go.
because we started with the video of talking about the competing two sandwiches.
Yeah.
I, without any announcement, put the napkin on, put the bag on the table. You saw the visceral reaction. I said, I'm hungry, and I start to eat the sandwich, and you see the reaction. What's interesting is exactly what you just said. We react against them for the very nature of what they are.
Yeah.
They are that. That's what they are.
And at the same time, while the CEO and certain people up there donate to those organizations and stuff, when posts happened, they were out there handing out free sandwiches on a Sunday to blood donors, giving their blood to the
Let 'em
post
know.
Yeah, but
victims. From a franchise, from a lower level, there are people that are pro-LGBT. We cannot
That's
define
right.
LGBTQ, but we cannot define the organization as a whole. And there's so many small components that do serve us.
I want
Whether they know
to.
it or
I
not.
want to close. I want to close the conversation of this headline up.
This is where
But
the politics comes
I
into
want to
play.
say, America, next week we're going to come back to you and tell you exactly what Chick-fil-A said, because I believe Chick-fil-A has made the commitment that they are not going to support anti-LGBT organizations.
Good for
I
them.
believe that they made the commitment to say every store that is opening, they're going to help community-based organizations.
That's
And the confusion we've created in this conversation saying they retracted all of that is not good enough for us at this moment. So I pledge that we're going to get the right answer of exactly what Chick-fil-A
I did not hear
said.
them retract all of their
I
commitments.
do not think
on
they
you.
did, but I'm going to verify that for
that's
sure.
good.
Let's move out of our headlines and talk about what's on your mind.
Yeah.
A new segment that we've started talking about the host. And briefly, I just want to take a pulse of our host about what's going on in the world and in America. So, what's on your mind? Somebody want to start?
Hey, yeah, I'll start.
What's on your mind?
You know, on my mind, I'll tell you guys, you know, I wake up every morning supporting my mom right now, who's going through a little tough time. And in order for me to show her I support her, I take her to her little class in the morning, and it gets me up very early in the morning. Well, I have recontextualized what morning is. I've had this like resistance.
It's not
to
noon
morning.
anymore?
No, yeah, man, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, okay? So I'm 7 o'clock up in the morning, and I said to myself, all right, your day started when you opened your eyes. Now what? And every morning I'm asking myself, now what, Josie? Now what? And I post that challenge to everyone else who's watching today, because what are you doing today to make your life legacy worthy? And that's what's on my mind.
David, if you can do me a favor, David, restart the clock on each one we do. Somebody else tell me what's on your mind.
Well, what's on my mind is...
That's on my mind.
Somebody had an accident.
Hot plate, hot plate. That the universe tried to silence you today.
Restart the clock,
He's
please.
scared.
That's scary.
David.
So
Y'all need
what's
Jesus.
on my mind is we are getting close to Thanksgiving, and it's a great time to reflect and think about what it is over the last year and the year ahead that we're thankful for. And as we go into Thanksgiving, not only what we're thankful for, but it's also a time where many people, especially in the LGBTQ community, feel very lonely. So while we're reflecting on the things we're thankful for, I would challenge everyone to reach out to someone so that they do not feel alone. We are family, and we need to reach out so that we're not alone and that they're not alone, and we can all be thankful that we are family.
Okay. Others, what's on your
a
mind?
lot of what I was thinking about too. I've been thinking a lot. Two of my friends just got married this past weekend, and I've been thinking a lot about what it means. I've been single for a long time. I've rejected being in a relationship, feeling like working on myself or trying to better myself is somehow the antithesis of working with other people, because I think that you need to be a whole person and fully confident and fully embracing all of who you are before you can be with someone else. And then, in part because of conversations we have, I've been thinking, is that me just being a defense and putting up defenses between myself and other people and shutting down opportunities where they might be? Maybe I could have had all sorts of different types of relationships, either with a significant other or people that would just become friends, but I'm so mindset-oriented of needing to be single that I could be rejecting opportunities entirely.
Interesting. What's on your mind?
I mean, even to segue off of both of what you're saying right now, I think historically, because of the hatred and the unacceptance that we've seen towards LGBTQ people, not just in America but all over the world, the holidays tend to be a tough time for so many people. And I think
melancholy.
very melancholy. And with that being said, I go back to what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. We have wonderful organizations locally here in South Florida and Wilton Manors and Fort Lauderdale area like SAGE, which helps so many seniors who literally have either lost a partner or a spouse or what have you, and they've moved to South Florida because they don't have family that accept them. So they're alone during this very sad time for them when it's so joyous for other aspects of heteronormative society. So thinking of groups like Broward House, like Poverello, like the Pride Center, like SAGE. I'm so thankful that we have those organizations locally here in Fort Lauderdale and in Wilton Manors and the great work that our elected officials locally are doing.
Very nice. What's on your mind?
Woo! What's not on my mind is the question. Right now, there is a Supreme Court case that's practically not getting any attention. It's Byron Allen versus Comcast and what's the other cable company?
Time Warner?
Xfinity.
Time Warner?
Huh?
Cox.
Comcast.
Okay.
And they're basically he's suing them, challenging the fact that they're not letting black stations appear on their cable networks, and this case is challenging civil rights as we know it. Their argument is if 20% is based on being African American, the other percent is based on something else, then you can't sue for racism. His argument is no matter what the percentage is, I should be able to sue for racism. So this is really going to set people back if this case is won. And
Has the case already been heard?
It's last week it started.
So it won't be until next spring that we hear an
everybody's
answer.
paying attention to the impeachment stuff, and all this stuff
Yeah,
is going
we're
in the back
distracted.
scenes, smoke and mirrors. And the
Interesting.
Department of Justice is getting involved on the cable company side, and it's a big
I heard
fiasco.
everyone talk about Disney purchasing Fox.
Disney,
and
yeah.
the X-Men joining it, but nothing about that at all.
I hadn't even heard that, which shocks me.
I thank you. Interesting on what's on your mind. Last is me. What's on my mind? And that's Mayor Pete. I want to show you a little video piece about the Des Moines Register poll. Watch this.
This morning that the Democratic race is tightening. A new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll has South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg surging in key states like Iowa. He's now essentially tied with other top-tier candidates there. A new Des Moines Register CNN poll actually has him leading in Iowa with 25% support. According to that poll, he's overtaken his three closest rivals. Ed O'Keefe joins us from Washington, where he's been following the 2020 race. Ed, what do you make of these new numbers?
Hello, good morning.
All right. Well, I wanted to just show you a little taste of that.
Yeah.
What's on my mind is this is historic.
Yeah.
The Des Moines Register in Iowa says that Mayor Pete, in polling among Iowa registered voters, has increased in the last 30 days by 14 points. That is historic. For the first time ever in history, a gay presidential candidate, an LGBTQ plus presidential candidate, is leading in a state of America. Not only a state, arguably one of the most important states in America in the election process of Iowa.
Yeah.
So I only bring to your attention, while I do not think, and have said repeatedly, that Mayor Pete can be president of the United States in this cycle, I cannot, even though I've said that, allow this moment to pass. That's what's on my mind.
Historic.
America, this is historic in terms of the current poll by the Des Moines Register and CNN of what's going on in Iowa, and that's what's on my mind. Now, we're going to move into a major topic that we want to discuss tonight, and that is today. It's Wednesday, November 20th, and what today is Transgender Day of Remembrance.
Yeah.
Very important moment in American history, especially for the LGBT community, a National Day of Observance for Trans Lives Lost. We prepared this for you. Watch this.
Trans Day of Remembrance for me, TDOR, holds a very special meaning to me because it reminds me that there are other people like myself who are no longer here. You know, especially with the recent incident that happened in Bushwick, that happened a block away from me.
For me, growing up, I was raised in New York City's broken foster care system. Even through the pain that I faced from abuse in that family, and sexual abuse and physical abuse, emotional, mental, it was still the moment, I think, of teaching me how to survive. The time is now to understand that trans lives matter. And I think for me, it's so important because I could be the next one, right? And like, I think a lot of people don't really focus on that, how you can be the next person. The reality and the lived experience of being someone trans on this earth is that you're someone trying to be perceived as someone you're not. So I think it's really showing everyone that those people who you said didn't matter, they do matter.
For me, Transgender Day of Remembrance is a reality that I live mostly every day. Don't get used to this. This is not supposed to happen. Don't, you know, I talk to friends and I go like, hey, you know, I talk to friends on the phone from Argentina and I go like, hey, what happened with so-and-so? And they go, oh, she was killed. Like it's something normal, like it's something to be expected, like it's something that is okay. And that's what we cannot let happen. This is not normal. This is not supposed to happen. Don't get used to violence.
Well, our friends at GLAAD help us celebrate and remember on our National Day of Observation for Trans Lives Lost. It's important, and everyone at It's Happening Out wanted to make sure that we had special recognition of it. Any thoughts about what today means?
Yeah, I definitely have to say this. I think this is the third time I've been on your show, and this is probably going to be the most important thing that I've said and that I probably will ever say. Just as of this week, about 3 days ago, there have been over 331 deaths of people who are transgender or non-conforming around the entire world. 130 of them in Brazil, 63 of them in Mexico, and 22 plus of them that we know of in the United States alone. The average life expectancy of someone who is transgender in the United States is 35. With that being said, it hurts me to say that. And when we sit here and say that, yes, this is the gayest place on earth, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, well, out of those 22 individuals just this year, 3 of those trans women of color come from the state of Florida and Duval County and Miami-Dade, and literally in our backyard, B. Love Slater, a 23-year-old trans woman of color who was literally murdered and left in a car that was set on fire.
Yeah.
So when we as the LGBT community say that we have to do better for the T in LGBT, we have so much work to do, because in Wilton Manors, in the gayest city on earth, in the gayest place on earth, that is our work, that is our family, that is our chosen family. There are how many other B. Slaters out there that need us, so we need to talk about that. We need to advocate for them in any and all ways possible.
Beautifully said.
Amen.
Other thoughts?
People, to piggyback off of what you just said, people kind of forget sometimes that, you know, it's 50 years since the Stonewall riots, and it was transgender women of color who led the way for us to be here where we at. They're the ones who threw that rock to get us to where we are now. And
courageous.
Somewhere along the line, we said, okay, thank you. You stay in the back so that we can make things happen. And what about us? What about, they need to be involved. They need to be included in everything we do. And they need to be celebrated for their strength, because it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage to be transgender.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I don't identify as transgender, I am a gay man who entertains. Doing this is a second coming out when I have to talk to people. And so imagine them, every time they walk around, they have to worry about, is somebody going to make fun of them? Is somebody going to try to hurt them when they're going out in public, just minding their own business, doing their day-to-day stuff. And I commend them. I commend them all the way. And, you know, we have to remember to keep celebrating them, because without them, we wouldn't be fighting the way we're fighting today and be what we are today.
Yeah, and you know, it's hard to even think that a part of our LGBT community questions whether or not our T community is a part of our community. And that's very hard to think about. All of us, just think for a moment about when you were coming out. What do you think it's like to come out as transgendered? You know, when you think about all your entire community, you're not only just like removing yourself from the gay community that you were in, the lesbian community you were in, the bisexual community you were in. Now you're like stepping into a whole new, and my God, guys, the T is a part of our LGBTQ plus, okay?
It's so much more than that, though. I want to highlight something that was said in that video. We've come to expect this as normal. That as if lives don't matter. I know it's so easy to talk about the trans aspect of this, but more than that, they're people. These are people that are enduring this every single day. And to hear those kinds of stories and to just see that kind of reaction from our country, from the people that do that kind of thing, you have to remember every action that you take and how it leads toward it.
I want to end our commemoration of today by two quick observations. First, I'm thinking about our cast host, Aaron Phoenix. And wherever Aaron is right now, could not do the show tonight. America, Aaron represents this community.
Yes.
At It's Happening Out. Power Infiniti advocated for Aaron very strongly to be on the show. I encourage you to friend Aaron Phoenix on Facebook and read the observations that he makes. It is absolutely stunning. He posted today or yesterday, and it was just breathtaking. And so I make note of Aaron Phoenix, our castmate from It's Happening Out, and you get to know him. The one thing that I would say personally in terms of recognition of this National Day of Observance is what I have learned in the basic 60 weeks that I have hosted as moderator this show. I have said publicly on this show, I do not think I ever had a trans friend before It's Happening Out. How is that possible? Gay guru in America and not having friends in that community. And the one thing, that's one thing, and I've changed that, by the way. I've changed that. The other thing that is stunning to me is our road to Stonewall. Of course I knew. I've been to the Stonewall a dozen times in New York. I had no idea until this year when we started the road to Stonewall of the march to the celebration of the 50th anniversary, did I learn so clearly that the backbone of the Stonewall riots was the trans community. They stood up for, and many, many more.
Many more.
Stood up for the LGBT way stronger. They were leadership in the Stonewall riots.
It should be TLGB. Okay.
So, it's a big day for the national.
Why do you think we all want to know the T? Keep on going. Keep on going.
So, It's Happening Out makes special note of this National Day. We have a long, long way to go before we get there, as Power Infiniti has said to us. We're moving to the end of the show, so therefore I want to close out our show with a game that we played. And we're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop, and I'm giving production a heads up here. We're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop, and as you know, play along with us at home. We're going to show 3 animated pictures, and we're going to ask the host, who they do not know what we're getting ready to show, who they would shag, who they would marry, and who would they chop. Now, everybody knows we're on the verge of Thanksgiving, right?
Oh, God.
So it makes perfect sense for Thanksgiving to incorporate food in our shagging, in our marrying, and our chopping.
All right, we're back
So
to the
let's
fetish.
go to
Game.
Shag, Marry, Chop of, here we go, sexy chefs.
Oh, wow.
Our choice is David Templer,
I
the
hate this
shirtless
game.
chef.
Wait, that has
Chef.
penis on the table?
Yeah, it is.
Francisco Noriega, and you can see why he's
Oh my
popular as the naked chef.
Oh, no.
And then Matt Adlard, the topless baker. They are all super popular internet stars on YouTube. Are sexy chefs. Who wants to
All
play?
right, so I'm going to shag, clearly, Francisco. Sorry, I'm jumping in on that. It's right on the table. I got to go for it. It's clearly the one he had the one time. He's a little too obvious, though, so he's not the person I'd want to marry. I would want to marry David, who seems to be like a healthy lifestyle person, who's doing something. He's using his sexuality a little bit, but he's talking about other things. And then the one who's making gluten that would poison me, I'll chop.
Napoleon has a gluten allergy. I was with him in Cuba. Believe me, the last place you want to be with Napoleon in food is in Cuba. Napoleon, I'm curious on Francesco because he puts that out there so clearly. I have seen him where he puts it out there. Now, for you to immediately say shag, you're attracted, or explain to us how that would be.
I mean,
why is
chose
that
this.
important?
We chose this clip with his dick right there next
That's
to the cream
not my
being
question.
poured,
My
the
question
illusion,
is
the
on
metaphor.
you.
Look at its spurt. What are we talking about?
Don't dodge my question, dude.
Oh,
Francisco, you're attracted to as shagging instantly. Why?
Well, because, one time, fantastic. I love that passion, but he looks a little arrogant for my taste. So, good for one.
You're still dodging my question.
No,
Here, let me help you.
You're
Let me
still
help you
dodging.
out,
Okay.
Napoleon.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
I'll tell
Josie.
you because I'm going to shag Francisco too. Okay, and. Well, partly because of what he's, advertising.
Showing.
And then the other thing is because I don't give.
Brazilian,
He's
by the way.
Brazilian.
Of
And
course.
that's it. Done. Okay, we're done.
If there's any country in the world where gay men rival Cubans, it's Brazil.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I've had a couple Brazilians in my life.
I've
okay?
had a couple
Who would you marry, Josie?
But I'm going to marry David because for the same reasons as you said, I think he's living like a healthy life.
Wow.
And that's what I like. I
so
like living a
beautiful.
healthy
My
life.
goodness.
And this kid over here looks like a mess, Matt. Okay?
Look,
I know. All the boys love you.
Josie.
You're a topless baker. Okay?
Okay, I want to go.
But you're kind of messy. I'll eat your cake, but I don't
Okay.
want to marry you.
Child, please. I am chopping Francisco. He too skinny. I don't trust skinny.
You're all
Sorry.
skinny, girl.
He gets the chop. I would shag David.
Okay.
I mean, he cute or whatever. He got a big chest. But I'm gonna marry Matt because he looks like he has the highest body fat percentage. Number one, look, I'm sorry. Look, if I'm gonna mess with somebody who cooks, bitch, we both gotta be pregnant.
Tiffany, now here's a funny thing. And you might not make this connection. The naked chef and the shirtless chef cook all kinds of things. Matt only does desserts.
That is
there it is.
Baby, trust me and trust and believe at night, baby, I'm the only icing he's licking.
Tiffany at the top of the show.
Fantasia is attracted to the pastries.
Look, and he wears glasses, so that means he's smart and funny. He might
right.
play video games.
You said at the top of the show that Kitty and Power were, a little thin, and that you don't like the. That's really what happened to the two of them on this
So
show.
I'm going to shag David Templer.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to marry Francisco.
Oh yeah, of course.
I like my Brazilian.
Francisco has the ability to satisfy. Joe Brookman.
No. Well,
Oh.
yeah, he does. You seen his ass?
It takes 5 guys to satisfy Joe Brookman.
Good.
It's good.
All right.
Are you ready?
Good.
Oh.
All right.
And who you chopping?
Volunteers, they're below.
I'm chopping Matt.
And why are you chopping him?
I love him too. It was a trade-off between Shag and David and Shag and Matt.
All right.
All that mess I can't handle.
Well, it's funny because if I had to marry any of them, I'd probably pick Matt. When you said he does desserts, even before that, I love baking. I don't know what it is. I just think there's something so fun about not only just cooking, but baking in general. And then the product, it's sexy, and it's like, wow, I did this, right? It's so Top Chef
So
of
who
me.
are you shagging?
So Top
If I'm gonna shag somebody, I talked about this the last time I was here. I love men who are somewhat Mediterranean looking, so like
Yeah.
Greek or Latino, or I just love
Francisco
a
is it,
chest.
then.
Eric, I hear you. Problematic.
So Francisco, and then David. He just. This is so not PC of me, but he just looks like a douche frat boy. So I'm gonna have to chop him, or he looks like someone from maybe Fraternity X. Not that I watched that. Not that I watched that. Just saying. Just saying.
Gay porn.
What's your password?
I know. I'm like, what? Oh, girl.
All right,
Don't ask, don't tell.
So that's our game, Shag, Mary, Chop. I learned so much about the host. I know so much about the host. I learned too much about the host. That's how we play Shag, Mary, Chop. That's our game. We hope you play with us at home. We'll play it every week. All right. Before we move and close our show, let us do a little bit of housekeeping. Yep. First off, next week is Thanksgiving. And we are doing the show. We are live next Wednesday night from the gayest place on planet Earth. But we're going to do something special because it's not only Thanksgiving weekend, it is also coming up to World AIDS Day.
Yeah.
December 1st.
Right, on December 1st. And much of you, our viewers around America and abroad, by the way, London has become our top international audience, and we thank you very much in the UK.
Londoners?
We are going to do a special show next week. And America, you probably don't know this, but here in South Florida is the World AIDS Museum and Educational Center. And next Wednesday night, we will be broadcasting live. It's Happening Out's Wednesday night show at 8 o'clock, right in the middle of the World AIDS Museum.
Wow, that's
so
beautiful.
it's going to be awesome
I love
for us
that.
to celebrate Thanksgiving and our lead-in to World AIDS Day on December 1st. So tune in next Wednesday night. We have a fantastic live show for you at It's Happening Out. We always close the show. Tiffany, you're going to be very excited about this because you like a little bit of bulk. We're going to serve up some pizza.
Calories,
We have pizza
calories.
here from Jet's Pizza. And let's see the pizza here. Thank
It's
you
supreme.
very much. And this is the cauliflower, so this means
That's ours.
This is the healthy pizza, so you won't be eating this. Napoleon quickly grabs
This is the one I can eat. It's delicious.
Thank you.
I take a slice.
We have the real thick pizza here. Jet's is an institution here in South Florida.
Cheese pizza?
Yeah,
Where's
we
the
have-
ranch?
What a meat?
Where's the ranch?
I want the meat.
Right, exactly. All right.
Walking out the door.
America, that's our show. We always end It's Happening Out by reminding you a good night from our host, and tonight's no exception. So to close out our show, we start with my friend Joe Brookman.
And first, I'm going to wish a happy birthday to my firstborn son who turned 30 today.
Oh, wow.
So, and to those of you who are watching, love one another, listen to one another, learn from one another, and thank you for viewing, and come back to see us next time to stay in touch with It's Happening Out and what's going on.
All righty. And my
Well,
friend Chef Josie.
You know, this log cabin Republican and I have a lot more in common than we let off. But I have my mom. I want to say happy birthday, Mom, okay? I wouldn't be here for you. And so good night, humans.
All right.
Stay hungry. Stay tuned. Your voice matters. And you need to stay at this table here at It's Happening Out.
And my friend, my Cuban companion, along with other friends.
I have a Cuban companion.
My,
They weren't you.
there's so much truth to that, America. So much truth. My friend Napoleon plays.
Well, I also want to say happy. No, I don't actually want to say happy birthday. But what I do want to say is we do cover a lot of serious things right here, from everything today, from the Transgender Day of Remembrance to the HIV possible cure. There's a lot of really heavy, heavy stuff that we talk about here. And that's why it's important to make sure that through all of that heaviness, you can find the way to grow, to improve, and to challenge society. So remember to play every day, every way. And we try to here every week, too.
And we thank guest host tonight, his third appearance on It's Happening Out, our Democratic millennial, Aaron Darr.
Yes. Perfect segue off of exactly what you said. Tonight was very heavy. It was emotional for me to be here. I had to stop myself crying a couple of times. But, I always leave people with some kind of an inspirational quote, usually from strong women or girls across the world. And tonight I couldn't think of a better one but this. Anne Frank once said, how beautiful is it knowing that you not have to wait a single moment to start improving the world. So get up, join me, join others who are going to be strong advocates and allies, especially for the T and LGBT and the 22 people who were murdered in the United States alone this year, particularly trans women of color, making sure that we include them at the national voice of the conversation around LGBTQ issues.
And Aaron, I have to say to you quickly, we were going to do a segment on millennials, but we ran out of time.
Lucky you.
Lucky you first. But we love the young voice that you brought tonight. And to my friend, Tiffany Fantasia.
Yes. First off, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you guys, sharing my opinion and hearing yours. It's been a wonderful experience. Shout out to all my friends in South Beach at the Palace Bar and at Senior Frogs. Can't wait to see you soon. And if you come to South Beach, come and see your girl.
Come see
As always, I like to close out with whatever you do in life, don't be a dry hoe, be a greasy bitch.
Did that ring a little too
Okay.
I love it. Makes me want Kentucky Fried Chicken so bad.
You can go to my social media and buy the T-shirts and phone cases and all that.
I'm feeling greasy already.
Boom shakalaka.
Wait, I'll hold it up. I'll hold it up. All right. America, I'm going to let that pause a moment before I close out the show and tell you, It's Happening Out is really on a mission. We hope you believe us. We know many of you do. 600. We've reached 833,000 on our
guys.
CNN
So
special.
much.
We thank you. The show is designed to reinvigorate the gay LGBTQ plus community to say, Stonewall's celebration is over. What's next is what's important.
Exactly.
And that is our community and our culture. We haven't arrived yet. Our conversations every week prove that. But we're searching, and we have really good flashlights to try to find it. If you believe that, share us, and share us with your friends in our community. If it is important to you, it is always, It's Happening Out. Good night, America.
Good night.
Good night.